with more. Martin O'Malley, former Maryland governor and 2016 Democratic presidential candidate, joins us tonight. Good to see you tonight, Governor. Welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Martha. Thanks for having me.
What's your reaction to that? I mean, why can't they find some agreement ground here?
Well, I hope they will. I think, I don't often say this, but I agree with Lindsey Graham. I think that they're the most unreasonable people in the White House, pulled President Trump back from what members of Congress seem to think is a reasonable way to move forward, to grant, to give citizenship to the DACA kids and also to give the president what he's asking for a wall between us and Mexico. I don't think that's a particularly good use of money, but that's what the president wants, and that's what compromise is about.
But Democrats are now saying that they're looking for a clean bill, a clean funding bill on Friday with DACA included. But the president has said from the beginning, and the president has been very outspoken on how he feels about the DACA program. He has said, since he was elected, he said things that were a little bit stronger than this during the election. But he said, we want to deal with this with love. We want to keep, the kids who are good and who are prospering here in the United States, we want to keep them here. But we want a trade-off. We want border security, which Democrats have said for a very long time they were in favor of stiffening the security at the southern border. So now they're saying they're not willing to do that part.
Well, some of them are, and yet we also know that Senator Durbin and Republican Senator Graham apparently had what they thought was a deal that would allow the president to get part of what he wanted and also give protections to the DACA kids. So hopefully they'll find a way to work this out.
I'm sorry to interrupt. You watched the Homeland Security head testifying today. She got hit with so many questions about the phrase that the president used in there that it makes you wonder whether or not the priority is really helping these deferred action children, many of whom are now, adults and young adults. Is that really the priority for Democrats? Do they want to get a DACA deal at the end of this?
Well, I think they absolutely do.
And do they want to work with the president on that?
Well, I think I think Democrats will work with the president, and we'll work with one another, and we'll work across partisan lines to get this done. Unfortunately, look, I was a mayor and I was a governor, and what you have to understand is that leadership matters, and the words that leaders use also matter. When you do a blanket statement that a whole group of people from a continent or people from S-hole countries, that tends to erode the trust necessary for compromise and for people to be able to come together and find...
You can think it's egregious, you can think it's awful, horrible, whatever. Everybody has their own opinion on that. But should it derail the process? Should it be an excuse to hang everything up?
No, I don't think it should be. Look, I have come to expect very, very little from President Trump by way of manners, by way of couth, by way of treating people with dignity and respect. That's a given. He's not going to change. He's in perfect health, supposedly, which means he's only going to get worse. So that's what we're dealing with right now, and we need to, notwithstanding how abusive the president can be and how coarse and what a bad example he is for our kids, we need to find a way to serve the national interest and realize that real people's families hang in the balance here.
But here's the problem. Here's the problem, Governor. I understand that your sensibilities are offended by things that the president says. That of course, that's up to you. That's a personal decision. But if you're, the parents of Kate Steinle and you're listening to Democrats say that having supported border security all these years and a stronger fence and a stronger border, that now you're not willing to do that and you'd like to see Republicans have to shut down the government over that issue. Can you imagine how they feel, how their sensibilities are affected by that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Look, I have sat with families. It's not as if you have a family of all DACA kids or a family. I mean, a lot of families have children who were born in our country who are Americans, and they also have kids that are covered by DACA. I mean, this is affecting very real people. I spoke with a little girl, she was in 8th grade, and every day she goes to school thinking when she comes home, her family's going to have the doors kicked in and they're going to be gone, and she's going to be here alone.
Let's talk about one other issue here, because chain migration, of course they're real people. Chain migration is a big issue here that the White House would like to see. They also want to end the visa lottery system, a recipient of which plowed down a whole group of people and killed them on the West Side Highway, not far from where I am right now. Are you on board with that? Would you encourage your fellow Democrats to say, you know what, those are two areas that we should negotiate with the White House and Republicans on? Well,
I think both of those areas were things contemplated by the proposal that Senators Durbin and Lindsey Graham were on the phone with the president about. But look, and there's always compromises. I think we can be true to our principles and at the same time compromise in order to advance them. So I hope that's what we're able to do. And you know, if you want to talk about sanctuary cities, I saw some of the piece rolling into this.
Yeah.
Look, you can cite the example of that particular person, but the truth of the matter is it's not new American immigrants who are driving violent crime in America.
Well, three out of four of the terrorists who have been arrested, 3 out of 4 of the terrorists who've been arrested in this country, some 500 of them, are all from somewhere else. They're all foreigners who came to this country through the immigration program. 3 out of 4 of them.
Yeah, well, I don't doubt that. But what I do take great, but what I will contest is the notion that somehow mayors are creating sanctuaries for violent criminals. Look, mayors don't get elected to make their cities more violent.
They have to uphold the law, though, Governor. Do they not? They're not subjected to the law in their city?
Excuse me, come again?
They have to uphold the laws that with regard to immigration. They're not allowed to subvert the law to allow someone to stay there. What do you mean?
Look, Martha, there's a reason why every police commissioner, virtually every police commissioner of a big city in America says that by deputizing local law enforcement and trying to turn them into the deportation dragnet, you're actually hurting the cause of public safety. You're eroding public trust in policing, and you're not serving the interests of reducing violent crime.
The statute on the book says that if you don't uphold that law and if you turn a blind eye to it, you are indeed subject to prosecution yourself. So that's what they're pursuing.
Actually, in our state, our Attorney General told us that without warrants, that we are violating the Constitution of our own state if we simply turn people over because of an email from ICE. And so, look, all public safety depends on trust between police and the public. And trying to turn our local police into a dragnet, if that's what Donald Trump wants, go let him hire more people to create a big federal dragnet out there. But you know what? Not even his people believe that that's something that's good for our country. Look, I hope we're able to recover our ability to talk with each other, and I hope that we find protections for the DACA kids.
It looked like they were talking to each other pretty well the other day.
Walls can be dismantled, but citizenship is something that's lasting and real. And I have no doubt that the next generation of Americans are not going to be the xenophobic, immigrant bashers and haters that this president is.
Governor, thank you very much. It's good to have you with us tonight.
Great being with you.
You too.
Thank you.